It's going to be a quick setup lesson on how to set up your developer environment in order to get coding. Now, you don't have to use Visual Studio Code, but I do recommend if you are looking for an editor to use Visual Studio Code, as it provides an easy way for us to run the localhost server. So that gives us the ability to make AJAX requests locally when we're developing and practicing the code. Also going to be showing you how you can set and select your DevTools. That's the console I have here opened at the bottom. This is a preparation lesson in order to start coding that's coming up in the following lesson. In this lesson, we are going to be going through the web developer setup. So in order to get coding, it is suggested that you use an editor, and the editor that I do suggest is using Visual Studio Code. And this is available at code.visualstudio.com. You can download the version of Visual Studio that's going to run on your machine. So once you do have it installed, go ahead and open it up. The screen will give you some options where you can open a new file. You can open existing workspaces. So I do have some that have already been created. And as well, you can get some walkthrough and more information about how to use Visual Studio Code. So go ahead and create a new file. You can also create a new folder. So I do suggest that as you are creating new projects, create new folders. So I've got a folder called websites that I'm going to create the HTML file on it, create an index.html file within the websites. And from here where we can start writing our JavaScript code and our HTML code. So create a basic HTML template that you can use throughout the lessons as you create and go through the lessons. You can give it a title of JavaScript, and then within the body of the code, link out to the JavaScript file as source. And then you can give the JavaScript files different file names. So I'm linking out to a file called js1.js. So let's go ahead and we'll create that file as well. Save that within the same directory. And now we're ready to start coding. If you are using Visual Studio Code, then it is suggested that you do create a workspace, the live server extension. So in order to do that, you can save the project using the Add Folder to Workspace under the File menu at the top. Select the folder that you just created and then Add to Workspace. So this is going to add all of the files within the one workspace in Visual Studio Code, which will make it a lot easier for you to access them. Because we are going to be making AJAX requests, you will need to set up a local machine, so localhost, in order to run your files to make the AJAX requests. There are extensions within the Visual Studio Code where you can go under the extensions list and search for live server. So live server is an extension within Visual Studio Code that can allow you to set up a local machine. And then once you've got it set up, you can run your workspace, open up the live server within your browser using the local host. And this will give you the ability to make AJAX requests locally on your machine as you're practicing the web. Code editors as well will have different ways to run a local machine. You can also use Node in order to set up a local machine, and there's various other ways that you can set up a local machine on your computer, and you are going to have that in order to make AJAX requests. On the right hand side, as we're going through the lessons, I'm going to be showing the browser. The browser that I'm using is going to be a Chrome browser, and at the bottom I do have the developer tools open. So this gives me a way to communicate from the script into the console so we can see some values as they're being output within the code. This is available within Chrome. Most modern browsers will have their own version of the developer tools. With Chrome, you can open it under the right-hand menu. There's the three dots in the top right-hand corner. Select More Tools, and under More Tools, the developer tools, or you can right-click anywhere on the page, select Inspect, and that's going to open up the developer tools console, and then you can set where you want to dock it. I am going to be docking it to the bottom. When we're coding, we'll have the code running at the top of the browser display area, and then the developer tools console at the bottom so that we can see the results being output from the JavaScript code. So once you've set up all of your files, you've set up your editor, you are ready to move on to the next lesson. We're going to start coding with JavaScript.